Hello and welcome everyone to the fifth round of the PSGL F5 Championship. We are here in Spa in Belgium for what will hopefully be a very exciting race after we've had a pretty dramatic end to the Spanish Grand Prix last week. And I once again have my co-commentating buddy with me named Jack. Hello.
Hello, I'm very excited to be here once again. We've actually got a good turnout today, so it's the biggest turnout of my PSGL season so far, so I'm very happy about that. I run one of my favourite circuits. I mean, it's not my favourite circuit to drive, but to watch and to have on the calendar, definitely one of my favourites. I love Belgium, love Spa. It's just such a classic track, such an icon, and wow, it's beautiful.
Absolutely, absolutely. I mean, Spa is one of the fan favourites, one of the drivers' favourites, because it just provides such good racing usually. I mean, you've got overtaking opportunities, and then you've got, obviously, those fascinating, iconic corners, historic corners. Starting off with La Source, the hairpin for turn 1, which has been there almost since the start of this racetrack, I think. I think La Source has more or less always been a part of it. Then we've got, obviously, the famous chicane up the hill of Eau Rouge and Radion. Eau Rouge, the little kink on the left hand side, and then the uphill right hander of Radion. Then you run down the Camel Straight. Maybe we can go on board with someone. Yes, we are on board with Kev. Then running down this Camel Straight, the best overtaking opportunity in this race, and you're going around 330 kilometers per hour down into the chicane of Les Combes, which can prove very tricky. You should mount those curves on the inside, so pretty much. Then the right-hander, which pretty easy to track extend and to actually invalidate your lap. Then we've got the no-name corner here, the right-hand hairpin, and the left-hander, which I forgot the name of. Don't know if you've got it. I haven't.
What's that?
The left-hander after no-name corner?
Puon.
No.
Maybe?
Before that.
No? I don't know, X.
I have no idea, but we just went through Pujon on board with the Ferrari of Kev, and then into this right-left chicane here. I think that is called Stabilo 1 and 2, the double right-hander here. I'm not entirely sure though. And then we come up to the flat-out section, coming up towards Blanchimont now, and then down into the slowest part of the entire track, which is the bus stop chicane, which is actually not called the bus stop chicane anymore, but it was due to its layout back in the days. But now it provides another good overtaking opportunity with the slow nature of this chicane. And before, we've got the flat out section of Blanchimont, which has been pretty similar to its original shape, where back in the time when Spa was actually created as a racetrack, and it has developed over years, and now it's the longest track on the entire F1 calendar, with 7 kilometers, more or less exactly 7 kilometers. And yeah, just a great racetrack, almost like a roller coaster.
It's beautiful to drive, and oh, Gavin, as you can see, if you don't respect this track, it will spit you out as he hits the curb a little bit too much in Puon and just gets thrown off the track sometimes through there. If you go too fast and lose the car, like, you know when it snaps one way and it snaps the other as you try and counter it, if you do that through there, you're pretty much finished. I remember in another league we saw, I think, actually, at least I did. You weren't with me, Felix, but we saw a certain driver who's in F4, Ollie Flavel, I'm going to call him out. He spun, I think, 2 or 3 times through Puon doing the same thing, and then eventually we lost somebody else who threw it into the wall through there. But its entire track, I mean, I think you named pretty much every single corner on the track, so that just kind of proves how well known and beautiful and historic this track is. But the Eau Rouge and Radion corners, they are just so iconic. The massive steep hill, I know you stand right next to that whenever you go to Belgium yourself. But those 2 corners were nearly ruined by me by WTF1 with that's Radion actually. In 2018, you couldn't mention that corner without somebody going, that's Radion actually. I almost crucified about 16 children.
Yeah, that was pretty quickly pretty dead, that meme. But yeah, the inside curves around these fast corners are pretty deadly, like you've mentioned. It's easy to spin around. Fairhunt has lost the rear end out of the bus stop chicane as I saw that a couple of seconds ago, which completely ruined his lap time. But we've got a banker of 41.4 from Ghost and Cortez, only 1/10 behind Cortez. Remember, already won the Silverstone race this season, but wasn't really a favourite for any race wins before the start of this season. But let's see, maybe he can pull out another miracle and another race win at any point in this season. And yeah, currently we've got 8 drivers sitting a lap, and I'd say 7 of those are actually more or less countable, as Gavin, remember, has spun on his lap. He's low on fuel, he's in hot lap ERS mode right now though, and going through Stabilo, he sets a purple second sector, it looks like.
I mean, not bad to recover from Gavin there, but yeah, Cortez, last week I'm not sure he was here as Miku goes 6th, almost in the middle of everybody there, but I don't think Cortez was here last week, so we didn't see his pace in Spain. But yeah, Silverstone came in, took an unexpected win after a chaotic race, to be fair to him. But he's running his second right now, so maybe he can, you know, do well with that. Also, returning favourite, I do believe, with Leto Romanino. He was on holiday, probably seeing family in Italy or something, the last couple of races. But now he's back and he's racing, so what do you expect from Nino from this race?
I think we could expect quite a bit from him. I mean, he is a quick driver, we all know that. But so far this season it hasn't gone all too well. When he turned up, he wasn't really up there. He had obviously that very unfortunate start to the season with that glitch he had overtaking the overtake button always being deployed. But I think maybe his luck can turn around this race, and maybe he can start from the front of the grid today. And by the way, I've only just realised I slightly messed up. I accidentally thought I you know, got confused with the corner names. It's actually the left-hander of turn 11 is the no-name corner, the no-name left-hander, and after Les Combes, the right-hand hairpin, where that's not that where Geo is going through right now. This right here, that's called Bruxelles. Bruxelles? I have no idea how to pronounce that, but that's called Bruxelles, or something like that. But that's definitely not no name corner. That left-hander afterwards is really important for me because I love this track. Not on this game maybe because it's not too realistic, but on every more or less realistic racing game, this track is always right up there with being one of the best. And in real life, it's awesome to see the cars fly around this roller coaster of a track, going up, down, all the way through those fast corners, those iconic corners. And yeah, there's barely a corner you don't really know much about when you go through this track.
Yeah, I agree with you. I mean, in the real life race this year, it's been the same as pretty much all of them other than Italy. It was boring, awful, rubbish, everything. Didn't enjoy it, except it did look cool. The cars were nice to see going around the track, but seeing them with each other on the track was
rare.
It was just dismal. I don't like F1 right now, that's all I can say. But I do like commentating on the league races because, well, they're actually interesting. It's equal performance, the drivers are good, and there's also, if you're in the lower tiers, sometimes there's some ridiculous crashes, and that's really entertaining. Also impossible to commentate on. You have no idea what they're doing, and you know, there's a bit of surprise in league racing because it's maybe not always the same person winning. So yeah.
Well, we saw yesterday in real life what it's like, what it's like without the likes of Bottas, Hamilton, and Verstappen. It's actually incredibly exciting, and we've got 3 different podium sitters, and that was just incredible seeing an AlphaTauri win, and Pierre Gasly taking the win ahead of Carlos Sainz, who just needed, I think, if that main straight just would have counted, including the first chicane, then Carlos Sainz would have won that race. But yeah, he ran out of time in the end and only got second. And also Lance Stroll, which I think is a very much underrated driver. I know he's very, very hated, very much hated because of his dad, because of his money, but you need money in Formula 1. And I still have my opinion as El Chapo goes on provisional pole for now. Good lap from him. And I have my own opinion on Stroll, which is very rare, that he's actually a decent driver. He's developed quite well in my opinion, and he's done well, and he's got a deserved podium yesterday. And yeah, he completely outpaced his teammate. I don't know what was going on with Perez over the entire weekend, if I'm honest, but he full on outpaced him towards the end, and in the end finished quite far ahead of him, I think.
I mean, I just want his money, I'll be honest. I mean, I think that's the biggest reason why I don't like him. I just want his money, but I mean, I think Croft didn't quite do the entire podium justice. He wasn't quite as excited. Let's start a petition to make me and Felix see real life F1 comms. That's what I think.
Well, I did enjoy how emotional he got when Gasly crossed the line, and Ghosts just went off track through no-name corner, which is not good for him. His lap is invalidated. Let's go on board with Björn, who comes out of Stavolo and is now running up towards Blanchim on the flat-out left. Yeah, part of the track. You can see it through here. I remember that legendary move Max Verstappen did back in 2015 around the outside of Felipe Nasr, which was incredible, which just showed some glimpse of his talent and his incredible bravery Max Verstappen has got, as Björn climbs up to third for the time being on the second row of the grid. I think he'd be quite happy with that, but I know someone who's not happy with his performance so far, and that is Ferhan, who's sitting in the pits, and in terms of timing, he sits in P14 right now, 1.5 seconds off provisional pole, and that is far, far away from what he expects from himself.
I mean, yeah, he's currently in the championship fight right now. He's had a couple of bad races. That might just be a bad luck charm for him, because ever since I turned up, he hasn't had the best few races. Him and Ratica, who I'm seeing is now actually in VRT, so that's an interesting change of name. Actually, I just realised I never actually clocked who he was.
Sorry,
so there you go.
To interrupt you, there goes Lewis up into P1. He was up there in the fight for the victory last week in Spain until he decided to go the safe way with his tyres, do a two-stop, which in the end only got him P6, I believe. And yeah, today it looks like he is willing to repeat such a strong performance once again, maybe without that second pit stop.
I mean, yeah, I think it was an interesting strategy call from Lewis last week. He was leading the race very comfortably. He was all happy and jolly for him up at the front, and suddenly he pit and he came sixth, and it made no sense really to me. He was catching a lot at the end, to be fair, as I think somebody punctured right at the end as well, so I guess he was just trying to save his tyres, and they lost the podium from that. So it was this whole thing. I mean, it's hard to explain, but the tyres were bad. But yeah, as I was saying about Ferhan, he hasn't had the best couple of races, and he's kind of being pipped to the post by his teammate and a couple of other drivers right now, as it is to the Drivers' Championship.
And that is Gio into the wall out of Las Sources. Lost it on traction completely, as the exit of Las Sources is actually downhill, and could be a bit tricky with traction, but that looked very, very weird. Just a sudden loss of grip, and Mac flies past him as he's not on an actual lap, it looks like. Let's see, Miku has invalidated. Let's see, maybe Gavin is on a lap. Yes, Gavin is on a lap, and no, he is not on a lap. That's a bit disappointing. El Chapo's on an out lap. He's just in front of him though. So
I think
yeah,
Matt might be on a lap.
I think no, I think he did turn it down. He did turn the ERS down, but maybe that was just a little bit of a tactic from him. So right now he's going through the left-hander, the no-name left-hander. Yeah, it looks like he's still on a lap. He put the ERS down to 0 though for a second, so that's why I got confused. That's a tiny run through Puon. That was beautiful. That was, wow. That really impressed me. Did you see that line? It's so on the edge.
I mean, this might only be F5's middle tier. Oh, that's disappointing. But this might only be F5 and it's the middle tier, but that doesn't mean these drivers are bad. They are really good drivers, at least as far as I'm concerned as an F8 peasant. I mean, these drivers are all really good, and I mean, I'm very jealous, I'll be honest, of their pace and their skill. As you can see, just that line through Puon was... I mean, Felix, you enjoyed that quite a lot, and I imagine you got a little bit excited, but it was just beautiful, and I have a lot of envy for these drivers and their skills. So That just kind of proves their caliber, and I can't remember what I was going to say anymore, but yeah, in conclusion, yes.
Yeah, I gotta say, we've got quite a solid amount of viewers in the chat right now, 15 views. That's not too high for F5. That's not too bad for F5. Usually we're on like 8 views or something in F5. But that's quite solid, gotta say.
Yeah, doubling our numbers. I'm not complaining. Hello.
Neither am I. Oh, that's a weird line from El Chapo, and that's his qualifying lap over for now. That was very odd, the way he took it. But let's go on board with Ferran as he comes through La Source to maybe go for his final lap, actually, as he cuts to the inside on the run down towards Eau Rouge, which then turns into the right-hander of Radion. And yes, that was a tidy line. Maybe could have maximized it just that little bit more. Sondre's still here. Hello, Sondre. And yeah, flying down the Camel Straight now. Maybe could have gotten a bit of slipstream from Lewis, but he didn't choose to get it. He stays in 5th. Interesting. Doesn't maximize his run through there. Oh, that was tidy on the inside. That was a good line. That was very, very tight to a track extent very close to it as well, as he comes through Bussell or whatever its name is. Then we go through the left-hander, through the no-name left-hander, down towards Pouhon. And that could prove tricky for Ferran as it goes wide and not too wide. Oh, just on the line on the outside. That could have been an invalidation for him. But that line didn't help him too much in terms of lap time. Now he stays in 5th gear, which is interesting. Always on the limit on the outside in terms of track limits. Now here leaves a bit of a margin through Stabilo, and now it's flat out till the last chicane of the bus stop. But like I said, it's actually not the official name, which slightly disappoints me because bus stop is much cooler than La Chicane.
The chicane. Imagine that. Imagine that. Like Vale and Silverstone, just the chicane.
Yeah, it's literally
it's like calling
La
a corner
Chicane.
Bruce. It's like calling a corner Bruce. It's just awful. But I mean, just seeing Ferran, he only went 9th with that lap, which is really disappointing for him. But just seeing him drive and seeing the way he maximises the track and takes his lines. I remember when I used to think that I would be able to get up to this level of driving, and I practice all the time. And I realised that I'm just bad at this game and I could never do this, because just the way they use the track and use the car and their setups, it's just beautiful and amazing to watch and see. And I realised that I'm never getting to that, so now I've decided to do that with Overwatch. So yeah, I'm bad.
Yeah, well, you need to get the right feel for the car. I gotta say, I'm a lot more confident on this game than I was on last year's game. I've become a lot quicker once again, because F1 2019, oh my lord, that was a bad game for me. But now it's alright. I got my first win in PSGL last week yesterday, 1 week ago, yeah, in Spain. My maiden PSGL victory. Took a long time, but I finally managed to do it. But today's not about me at all. Today is about those guys on the track right now, as the time has run out for those guys. So everyone's on their final laps now. Schultz is in the pits. El Chapo has retired, and Ratica is going to be the first one to actually finish his lap as the guys come through their final runs. Puma has made a mistake. He spun through Pouhon. He has not managed to set a lap. Here comes Ratica now across the line. Goes P2. 13 thousandths of a second behind Lewis for now. And let's see, where is Lewis out on track? He is invalidated, so he has no chance to get his margin bigger. Let's look at Gavin. Gavin is currently only 67 thousandths of a second behind Lewis. And he comes into the bus stop chicane now. I'm still going to call that bus stop chicane because it's a lot better. I'll go slightly wide. Doesn't quite clip the apex as you maybe could. Stays in 3rd gear for the better traction. He comes across the line. Does not improve enough. He stays 3rd for now. What does Björn do? Björn is still out on a lap, but Björn's lap is gone. Björn will not get the position. Kev invalidates. Ferhan goes through the final chicane and he runs out of fuel.
Oh, so disappointing for him, but look how close they are at the top. That is just biblical. It's all like, say, here comes Miku, who only goes 8th fastest, but he hasn't had the best qualifyings, except we've seen him do quite well in the races, so it's not all over for him just yet. We've only got a couple more drivers left driving. Nino's invalidated. He's going to be starting from 2nd last. As we also saw Puma, who crashed through Pouhon. You can kind of see that this track is difficult, and Just look how close they are at the top. This grid has always been just so close, and I love it with a passion. It's Miko and Cortez, the exact same lap time. I think I've seen that every single race I've been here. Somebody's got the same lap time, and it is beautiful. I am happy.
Yeah, this is just great to see. I mean, in between P1 and P4, they are not even 700ths of a second. That is so close. I love commentating over this tier as Lewis takes pole position then for the second time in a row now, I believe. I think in Spain he already took pole, and now he's gone and done it again. But this time he needs to convert it into an actual race victory. Better than he did it in Spain last week, where he only finished 6th in the end because of strategy. But today it should be an easy one stop. It should be an easy strategy for him, but will he actually manage to hold it? Let's wait and see. But right now he's got the best position to start in. Or actually, do you reckon P2 could be even better with the slipstream down the Camel Straight?
I think if you can keep up through El Rouge and Radio and just get in behind in for Lacombe, just have the slipstream straight down the Camel Straight, I think that's a little bit better than being in front, because, I mean, getting overtaken isn't recommended and isn't very fun, but, you know, it is how it is.
Yeah, well, I agree with that. Overtaking isn't that much. Being overtaken is not that much fun. But there you have it. It is Lewis on pole in front of Rattica, Gavin and Björn, all within less than 700ths of a second. Then 1.5 tenths behind there is El Chapo. Didn't manage to set his final lap either. Then we've got Ghosts in 6th, Kev in 7th, Miku in 8th, Cortez in 9th, and Fairhand with the worst possible position for his race. He will not be happy with 10th. No free tire choice. And such, and the lowest possible position inside the top 10.
I wasn't really listening to them. I'm having a chat with Lewis in the chat right now.
Yeah, I just said that it is the worst possible starting position, more or less, for Fairhun, as he is 10. Doesn't get a fresh tyre choice. He's now currently 7 points behind his teammate in the championship, which is not too far. But right now, his teammate has qualified on the first row, on the front row of the grid, as he has qualified on the 5th row. No, 4th. 5th. 5th was right. Was 5th right? No, it's 4th.
I don't know numbers. I'm sorry, I can't tell you. So while Felix does, I think, college entry-level maths, there we go. We're just going to talk about Fairhand, like you said before.
It's 5th.
I mean,
it's 5th row.
Yeah, there you go, Felix. You got it.
Oh, that was a bit embarrassing. Maths is not my strongest subject, but yeah, I'll have to deal with it. I'm a commentator. Usually, like, professional commentators actually like have everything sorted out in front of them. They can just read it out. That's it. And no one's readied up yet, and that scares me.
I mean, maybe game broken. I mean, we are supplied with the F1 game, so I think us F1 game commentators, we do.
As if they send us a copy of the game.
If only. I mean, I would love that, but I mean, I think we have a harder job than those professional commentators. They get it all out in front of them. We have this thing in front of us that we have to work with, and I think it's a miracle that any of us managed to do any comms, if I'm honest. But
I'm pretty sure it's restart right now. I'm pretty sure the lobby is glitched.
Oh! Hey!
Oi! Oi! We're going! Oh, that's beautiful! Has someone left? Please don't tell me someone's left.
No, nobody's left.
Messages are not loading. Oh, yes! Thank you, game. Thank you.
As the streamers say, this is PogChamp.
And, yeah, I think we should have everyone in here. Yes, oh, we've already got a fight back there. Oh, Gio's going for a move on Leon. Side by side. Beautiful.
If we see some tingly side-by-side action through El Rouge and Radion, I will most likely scream and do my trademark voice crack because my voice doesn't like me. I mean, if we see something through El Rouge and Radion, it's either going to end beautifully or horrifically. I remember I've seen a few league races where I've gone up through El Rouge and Radion, and then I'm going underneath someone as they've hit the wall and just pinged onto track over me. and I've had quite a few heart attacks around this track. I mean, it's terrifying is all I can say. Racing on this track is beautiful until you get close to somebody, like too close, and the amount of times I've seen just almighty crashes, and we've even seen drivers in real life struggle with this track, as Giovinazzi, who I do not rate highly, binned it somehow, just got on throttle 20, pinged into the wall, and then pinged onto the track, took out Russell with him. This track can be deadly, as it's taken many lives, like over its years, modern day and old days, so this track can be dangerous, but when
luckily
everybody drives safely, beautiful.
Yeah, luckily on this game, it's not really a danger for the drivers in real life. Obviously, we've had that tragic loss of Antoine Hubert last year in F2, which was, just very sad to see for everyone. And obviously Juan Manuel Correa getting those horrible injuries, still not being able to use his right leg properly yet, and nearly having lost both of his legs. He returned to Spa this year, which was great to see. It's great to see him recover so nicely, and he expects to go racing again at some point in his life, which is great news. We obviously want that, but we've got the predicted pit stop strategy, soft medium, lap 8 to lap 9, somewhere around there, and it could be interesting, this race. I hope it will be interesting. We've got Mercedes on pole, we've got a Red Bull lining up next to it, not too unrealistic, not too far from real life, as the lights are about to come on in a short amount of time. As the lights are coming on now, and we're up to 5 red lights. And we are off here in Belgium in Spa. It seems to be a good start from Lewis in P1. Rataka seems to be struggling and might be put under pressure. No, Rataka actually pressurizes Lewis in P1 as they go through La Source. Seems like they kept it clean at the start. At the front at least they did. Gavin is in the slipstream of Rataka. Rataka is really close to Lewis, but is he too close as they run through a Rouge and then Radion. Up the hill they go. It's really close at the front. Can we maybe see an overtake for the lead right now? Rataka seems to be struggling. He does not have the run. Look at Björn though. Björn is pulling alongside Gavin as they come towards Lake Com. Rataka is too far away from Lewis, but there goes Björn down the inside, side by side through Lake Com, but he has to back out for now.
Pretty much every single car right now on the track is side by side. There's already a yellow flag through Lacombe, as it looks like Gio and Nino are both off through Lacombe. I'm not sure quite what happened, except there's still racing going on now, as the Ferrari shows almost goes up the inside of the Ferrari sister, or the Alfa Romeo sister car of the Ferrari of Sismix. I don't even know words, I'm sorry, but everybody was going side by side up the Kenwood straight, and it was beautiful to see.
Chapo going wide, and Ghosts taking the position from him. El Chapo went wide through Pouon, nearly lost the car because of that, but he luckily kept the car on track. Only lost one spot then, but he's been pressurized from Miku behind. And fair, and it looks like Kev has lost it, and Kev is spun round at the same spot where Giovinazzi spun in real life. He's got a 5-second penalty for a severe collision with Simic, so I hope Simic has no damage on his Alfa Romeo, but it seems like he might just have some damage, but no, it doesn't seem like he has. And look at Cortez. Cortez is really close to Fairhahn. Currently second in the championship is Fairhahn, but right now he can keep the spot out of Cortez, and P8 is really not where he wants to be. And I think the timing is just glitched. Yeah, the timing is glitched.
I'm also having drivers just ghosting. Apparently DRS is enabled.
Apparently it's lap 3.
Oh, game! Everything confuses me.
To be fair, I did have that in Austria, and at some point it was just correct once again, but I don't know at which point. So Lewis is still leading, don't worry. And we didn't talk about tyres. Hida is not in P5, but he's on mediums. And Matt is on mediums, so is Schultz, so is Leon, and so is Puma. And Gio, Nino, and Kev have all three pitted on lap 1. Not a good start for those three guys.
Yeah, I think they all had contact with either a driver or a wall, and the wing was gone, as I know Nino and Gio, they had a collision there, the little coming together. But I mean, this is why I love commentating over this race. It's just unpredictable, as Schultz goes side by side with Hiller, gets overtaken, and Leon Bentley just goes straight past him as well. And Schultz is actually an AI, so Puma almost had the opportunity to overtake him, but Schultz just going into AI for a moment. He's still in AI. I don't know what's happening. Maybe he's gone to eat or something. As Puma sends it up the inside of the Ferrari, and there you go, easy. Like, I mean, I don't know what he's doing. Okay, we'll take it. Overtaking action, if it's on an AI or not.
And look at Lewis. Lewis is already forming a gap of 9/10. Can he pull it out to 1 second? By the way, we are on lap 2 now. The game is updated and decided to send us back 1 lap. So we still get the full 22 laps, which is good to see. But Lewis currently builds out that gap to P2. I've had that predicted pit stop strategy for the 4th time now, which I don't really need.
Oh, Felix, the angry German. That's what we love to hear. I mean, this game is utterly broken and it makes me scream. I mean, luckily I haven't had to play it for a month because I decided to yeet down a mountain. So, yeah, I've had the blessing to only ever have to witness a glitches as we've had a crash.
That is Simics.
In the wall. Turn 1. I'm not sure quite how he's done that. Maybe got on the power too early and thrown it into the wall.
I'm not sure, but I'm right now looking at El Chapo, who's really close to Björn, and also Björn is really close to Ghosts, but it seems like it's a big DRS train. Hey, we've heard from the 2 Williams drivers that they want to get into that championship fight for the constructors as well now, as they had a great result with P1 and P3 last week in Spain, and now they really want to get into that fight and want to challenge the Red Bulls. Right now it's looking good in P3 and 4. Not too bad at the moment. Ratica is the only Red Bull in front of them, and then there's Fairhan down in 8th.
Yeah, I mean, this track, it's great to race on once you actually get side by side, but other than that, it can just turn into an almighty DRS train, and it's kind of a bit boring sometimes because everyone's just kind of going side by side down the Kemmel Straight. DRS slipstream easy, as you like. If you haven't got it, you're absolutely finished, but sometimes people just kind of end up in a straight line. But wait until the end of this race, then I guarantee you we will see some racing.
Every time you pronounce the letter F, I'm just that little bit scared you're going to drop the F-bomb when you say people are finished. I always get a little bit of a heart attack that we get thrown out of this commentary. But I hope we don't. I hope we don't. And look at El Chapo. Look at El Chapo. He's really close to Björn. Björn is putting away slightly out of the last corner though. And Björn has got about half of his ERS left, half of his battery charge. And look at the amount of ERS El Chapo has got. He's got massive amounts. He's trying to stay close to Björn now on the run down to Arouge and Radion. Now as they fly up Radion, he's really close to the rear end of Björn. Might have to pull out already, which won't help him with his momentum. You need to have that momentum. He doesn't really get the slipstream from the cars in front. Ghost is putting out as they go side by side coming down into Lake Cobb. Do they leave each other the room they need? Yes they do, and Björn stays in front for now, and Miko's gone really wide there through the left-hander, but he kept it on track. And now Chapo, it's only going to be a matter of time till he passes Björn, but that was really smart of Björn, just doing the Hamilton tactic, you know, getting the car behind a bit too close so they can't really get a good run on you, and you need that run on the Kemmel Straight to actually go past.
Yeah, it's just so necessary. I mean, I think they both had DRS as well, so there's a power of the straight line speed, which they both seem to be relatively equal. You need that slipstream to just give you a slight edge, but Björn had a slight low advantage, kind of, by having El Chapo so close behind him, but at some point, J Chapo, he's going to have the opportunity to get past, and he will get past, I think, but, I mean, I'm not sure it's looking great for Gavin, maybe. I mean, luckily he's got his teammate behind him, so those two can use team orders and switch between each other, except this is also an opportunity for J Chapo.
Yeah, and I think there's the team orders you just talked about. Yeah, Ghosts, Gavin lets Ghosts go through up into P3 is Ghosts now. Gavin lost quite a lot of time, to be fair, but not as much time as he would have lost if they actually fought, and I think now Ghost is trying to get Gavin into his DRS, trying to carry him along a little bit, and that DRS is also going to help Björn as El Chapo is so close to him once again, flying up Radion with those incredible speeds those cars have got, and once again he pulls out too early, can get the run, he needs to get back into the slipstream, tuck in, get the total, but he can't get it just yet, and Björn keeps the spot for another lap. Really good defending so far, and El Chapo is not really gaining too much on him on the straight, so he can actually pass him, and maybe he should reconsider his his attempt to overtake.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of this track is a fine balance on your setup between having good traction and downforce in the corners through Sector 2 here, as you got a lot of fast and kind of medium pace corners, I'd say, through Sector 2. But for Sectors 1 and 3, it's quite straight and fast. So I think it's a really fine balance to see whether you'd rather have more pace in Sector 2 or 1 and 3 on the straights. So that's always tricky to get right, but it looks like Jay Chapo and Björn have kind of chosen the same path in terms of straight line speed and downforce.
Yeah, it looks like they have, and in the meantime, while those two are actually trying to pass each other or stay in front of each other, Lewis is just running away with it and is on his way to get his first victory of the season, which he came so close to last week. And we've got Miko in the pits, and so is Cortez. Both are on softs. That's very early. That's very, very early. Lap 5. I don't know if the mediums can actually make it till the end, but they decided to pit already. As, I just want to talk about Lewis a little bit. Lewis and Ratiker are the two guys we should actually mention right now, as those two have got a good gap to the cars behind. Lewis in the lead currently has got the clean air. Ratiker about 1.9 seconds behind, and then he has got the 1.7 gap to Ghost as well. And the two Williams obviously switch positions to maybe try and challenge Ratiker, but right now it looks like Ghost is not really able to gain too much on Ratiker, but he just gained a 10th there, a cheeky little 10th. And Gavin just got a pen.
Oh, okay, so pens on this track, I think they're interesting. I mean, sometimes I just always think it's hard to get pens, but it's actually kind of easy. All you have to do is run wide through here and
I think Lewis made a mistake. Yes, Lewis has spun through Buon.
No! Oh, Lewis! He was talking about how he's bottled every race so far, and he's done it again. He's in the wall. Where was that? It's through Puhon
That
again.
was Puhon. I think he clipped the inside curb and he was spun round. Does not get any damage whatsoever, but has thrown his chances for the win straight away. And that is Ratiker, our current championship leader, back into the lead. And now he's got the best chances for his second win of the season. And that is crucial.
This also helps the Williams drivers, though, with their constructors fight. They get just a few more extra points other than a third and a fourth. They're now running 2 and 3 as Gio gets a penalty as well. But Lewis, that's a horrific mistake. Throws it into the wall through Puhon. And it's just all over for him now. I mean, unless there's a safety car and he somehow gets a miracle with the strategy, I'm not sure there's going to be much of a way back. I mean, he's going to have a lot to do to fight his way through the field now, especially after that wing change. So Lewis having a big mistake, and half of my thing, I've got no timing at all, so I've no idea who's where.
Yeah,
Except Jay Chapel still close to Björn. Coming up the camera straight, he's going to go side by side, except I don't think he's going to be able to make the move. It's just Shepard, the two Williams drivers, still so close to each other. But, you know, saving themselves and not fighting too much so they can catch Ratiker ahead. Only 1.3 seconds, 1.2 seconds away. It's huge lockups for both of them. Oh, that was quite interesting, but luckily there's no flat spots on this game, so everyone kind of gets away with it. But
sadly, there's no flat spots. I would love
sadly,
flat spots.
Yes, I mean, I'd be F11. That's guaranteed. I mean,
well, that would be quite cool actually to see, because
it'd be cool.
Lockups actually get punished. As Jay Chapo is locking up everywhere. I've kept on saying El Chapo. I think that should be alright. I'm just gonna go on with El Chapo.
I mean, El Chapo kind of makes him sound like, I'm not gonna say that.
A wrestler.
Actually, that's quite true.
A Mexican wrestler.
Yeah, I was gonna say a Mexican gangster, but I didn't think that would be quite politically correct.
Ah, that's alright.
You said it, so I'm gonna go with it. I mean, I'm trying to keep the...
And Ratiker pits.
Oh, there you go. I was trying to keep the
Ghosts.
feelings of the driver in consideration. So I'm sorry, Jay.
Well, I don't think Jay will be offended all too much. It's only his PSN. It's not like El Chapo is his real life name. I don't think his real life name is El.
Doesn't L mean the?
Yeah. Would be weird if his name is the. It's as if you would be called the. I don't think that's his name. Jay is probably his name.
Yeah,
I'm
probably.
90% sure. Well, we do have in a different league. We do have a driver named Kelvin or something, and his real life name is Nelson or something. So I don't really know. I'm not too sure. I believe his name is Jay, but I'm not entirely sure. But
I
neither
mean,
am I sure why we are actually discussing names right here. And
oh,
an actually interesting thing is look at the gap between Ratic and Ghost. It's only 4 tenths. He's lost massive
oh
amounts of
yeah.
time in the pit lane. I think Ratic has been held up slightly by Björn, who's at the back of this train. He's behind Miko and Cortez. That was important for Ratic and Ghost to get past them as quickly as they could. And we've got 17 viewers right now. That's great. We had 20 a couple of seconds ago, which is sad. People, please don't leave. This is entertaining.
Or people are just listening to us talk about names. I mean, there's still somebody in another league who thinks it's funny to be called Humongous. You're not funny. Still makes me angry. I laugh every time when I'm trying to commentate on that. But, I mean, Jay Golsey's caught a lot under those pit stops to Retica.
Oh,
Gavin
and Puma
has-
goes for a late dive into
Oh.
the bus stop, and he clips
Oh,
two
people
cars.
up.
He crashes into two drivers, not one, but two, into the bus stop chicane. First of all, he slams into, I think Hide it was, who weaves at him. Puma lets him go by again. And I don't know, who was it that he spun round? I think he punted off Leon. And I think he hit and he spun round Hitter. I'm not entirely sure though, but we've got pit stops in. That was quite dramatic. And look at Gavin, who is just in front of Cortez. Are they going to go side by side through Radion? Yes, they are, but no, Gavin. Oh, that was lucky that he pulled out of that move. And now Gavin should have the DRS, should have the opportunity to fly past Cortez, but no, he doesn't. And that's crucial for his race. He's going to lose the gap to those guys in front, to his teammate Ghost and Ratica as well. But they're not putting away all too much. Miku's staying with them.
I mean, that's interesting. Miku's got himself right into this fight.
Oh, and Puma.
Oh, Leon.
Ooh,
there you go.
Oh, please don't
That's a
go side by side
scary
through
place.
Puon. And
Scary place got side by
Leon's
side.
got front wing damage. I think that was after the crash. Because of the crash, I think. Ah, Puma, that was not a smart dive. I'm not gonna lie.
Miku, he's actually just put himself. He's done an undercut. And he's actually put himself in net P3 right now, which is a bit surprising as Jay Golson and Ratica ahead of him are pulling away slightly, but he's just kind of stuck himself in the middle of this fight and said, hello, I'm here, just reminding you I'm in this championship fight and I'm gonna give you a run for your money. Also, apparently Jay Chappell's actually called Keith, and that's brilliant.
Ah, why Jay? Let's just forget about it. Now we can call him a Mexican wrestler though, without offending him. It's only
yes.
his PSN.
Love it.
And yeah, Miku has done a good job so far this season. I think he's picked up a couple of podiums here there. Leon pits in the meantime on his mediums, which is very disappointing for him with his front wing damage, because he won't be able to fit the softs, and that was close between Cortez and Miku. Cortez nearly hit Miku, and Gavin outbraked himself, and it looks like it could be a move from Björn if he gets a good run through Radion now. But he doesn't, it looks like. It looks like Gavin has got a good run though. Maybe he can challenge Cortez. No, he's a bit too far away for that DRS train to actually make a move. Ghost though is so close to Ratica, as he's the only one in that entire train who is not able to have any DRS from anyone. Lewis in the meantime has gone back past Fairhand, and that just shows how bad these last couple of races have been going for Fairhand, as he was in the fight for that championship, and now he's had two bad races in a row in Silverstone and in Spain, and now here in Spa it doesn't look any better. I mean, Lewis, who has spun and had front wing damage, has just passed him once again. And Lewis, actually, look at Lewis, he's not too far away from that pack. Only 2.8. If he can catch back up to the DRS train, of course it is difficult to pass people within a DRS train, but he might be able to pass one or two drivers if they make mistakes, and then he could still be in the fight for maybe a podium.
Yeah, I think Lewis, he's got a good chance now, as long as he keeps it consistent and keeps on the track, doesn't make any more mistakes. And I mean, 11 laps, I don't see why he can't do well in this race, but I think Jay goes, if he wanted to, he could overtake Retico. All he needs to do is pump up a bit of his overtaking, you know, stick it past him on the Camel Straight, but I'm not sure he really wants to. I think he's quite happy to sit in the DRS of Retico and just kind of vibe there for a while. He's got 98%.
Yeah, as found, picks up
I'm not really sure. Oh yeah.
What a lovely train that is. Just seeing those cars fly up ready on, just right after each other. But look at El Chapo. He's really close now to Björn. Björn this time can't prevent the run from the car behind. El Chapo, maybe this time he can get it. He goes for the outside. He's fully committed. Into Lake Cobb, they go side by side. They bang wheels, and El Chapo has to take avoiding action, cut the inside corner there, and that was quite aggressive. But El Chapo finally managed to get side by side. Did not manage to get their move done though.
He wasn't quite using all of his overtake, which I think would have helped him make that move, if I'm honest, as Leon gets overtaken by Nino. But I think Jay Chapo, he might have been able to get that move done if he used his overtake, but aggressively around the outside, and I've seen that through Lacombe sometimes trying to stick it side by side through there isn't good as there's a yellow flag. It's just one of the back marker cars.
Gio, that's Gio.
It's disappointing, him down to 16th,
and
but
he's lost massive front wing.
That's disappointing, but Jay, or Keith, he's
just say Jay.
Yeah, Jay Chapo, he's now second down after that wheel banging, but going side by side through the cut sometimes just isn't quite the best thing, as I've seen it happen to me in my evaluation race. You go side by side and you just wheel bang or something, and you kind of get sent off the chicane, maybe spin or something, so it's quite hard to go side by side with Lacombe, despite it maybe not quite looking that way. But apparently Ratica might be struggling, according to Callum Anderson.
I'm not sure, but I don't know if you're familiar, if you're really following F2 in real life, but it did remind me of F2 where that was the case quite a lot of times. Drivers being pushed off, banging wheels, and then having to cut the inside corner of the left-hander. And Ghosts and Ratica are about to pull out of that 1 second window to Miku and get themselves in a little train on their own then. But Miku's caught back up in that DRS phase, and look at Lewis, only 1.4 seconds behind that train now, and we've gone down to 11 viewers, which is really disappointing me.
Oh, I mean, I can't really think of why. I'm just gonna blame it on me.
We're just too boring.
Yeah, I mean, I've been going on about irrelevant stuff all day. I mean, I'm distracted today. I mean, in conclusion, I had a college place and I didn't have a college place. Now I have a college place again from the same college that I didn't have a college place at, so now I have a college place at the same college that I had a college place at before, which I didn't have a college place at. So yeah, that's how my life's going right now.
I think
and I'm a bit distracted,
might
so
be,
yay!
I think that might be the reason why people have left.
Yeah, another one's just left now as well.
Great. So it seems like
Blame
people
on
are
me.
not really interested in your live, Jack. I'm sorry to say.
Aww.
But the stream is more interested in the race, I think, than in our personal lives. I'm not too sure though. Maybe someone in the chat cares, but it seems like the majority cares about the racing, which is not really there all too much right now. Except from the back there is Leon and Nino fighting, coming down into the bus stop chicane. I didn't even show Nino once on stream, I think, today in the actual race, as Leon loses his back end out of the bus stop chicane. And just wanted to mention Verhan, currently second in the championship. His expectations for himself are pretty high, and I know that from his interviews. And he will be so disappointed not even being able to catch up to that train in front of him. And then there's Lewis, who caught up within just a couple of laps to that train.
I was just about to mention Lewis, he suddenly caught up 2.5 seconds and now he's on the back of Jay Chapo just ahead of him. So if he can cut his way through somehow, he's got hardly any ERS anymore after clearly pushing to try and get close to Jay Chapo on the DRS train ahead of him. I think he's pushed a lot to try and get that, but will he be able to push enough to get past? I mean, he's got plenty of laps to charge up and attempt moves, so Lewis isn't out of the fight for a podium, and with any luck, maybe a win, but I think that one's a little bit more unlikely, as we've seen.
Found.
Oh, that's going to be awful for his championship.
And he has lost front wing.
Actually, Gavin's going side by side with Cortez right now, coming through Blanchimon. So it's so hard to go side by side to his flat out. He's going to be on the inside. Miku's just ahead of them. They're going to be going side by side into bus stop, and Cortez looks like he just backs up. Gavin locks up, almost goes into the back of Miku. As the other yellow flag is, I think that's Farhan dying again. That's a fat rep. Cortez just behind Gavin though. They're going side by side through Blanchimon into the bus stop, and I was about to get muck excited if they went side by side through bus stop, but no, Cortez
What
backed
a
out, did the smart
move
thing.
that was by Gavin, round the outside through Blanchimon. You said it's so difficult to overtake as it gone flat out, but he had the bravery. He was fully committed to the move, but now he's under pressure from Cortez behind once again. Both have barely got any ERS left, but there comes Cortez back at him onto towards the Lake Cobb chicane.
Oof.
As they got side by side, and we've got a safety car. And
Okay,
Fan's
so
retired. Fan has just retired
Oh.
and blown his chances. I think he crashed into the pit lane.
How did he do that?
He did. Oh
I
my
think
goodness.
maybe,
And you know
he-
who was back in the fight? That's Nino.
That is true, he's just gone on the softs.
And look at Puma, look
Big
at Matt,
Nino.
and look at Hitter. All three have not
Oh.
made their pit stops yet.
They're all going to go into the softs now. Pretty much every driver, I almost guarantee it, will go into the softs. And Big Nino is in the fight for this race now. And it's nothing short of a miracle, I will be honest. And Hidder, the man who I once said might get an unlikely win and almost did, won it on track. I'm still proud of that prediction. Maybe, just maybe, my prediction will one day come true. I'll predict Hidder to win a race until he actually does.
Well, then it's not a good prediction anymore. Then it's just forced.
Oh,
Well,
shush.
people
Let me
are-
have this one.
People are passing each other, which should not be a thing. So Matt Pitts, Hitter, has to double stack behind his teammate though. That's a bit unfortunate. And then Puma Pitts. Let's see who stays out, who tries to hold his track position on this track. Rattica does not. Ghost does not go for the opposite. Miku does pit. So does Gavin. So does Cortez. So does everyone. This surprises me.
Okay.
Why
How
does
far
no
away-
one go for the opposite strat? I really don't understand. I would have, if I was Ghosts, yeah, and I would have seen
Okay.
Rattica in front of me, who is basically impossible to pass for me right now. Ooh, does Ghost come out in front? No, he does not. Only just behind. And right now it's a Has 1-2, I just want to mention. Wow. Incredible.
I'm not sure if Nino's going to be able to get back into this fight. I mean, he might overtake a couple of people in the pits, but he's a little bit too far away, so Nino's going to be on the back of this train right now. Maybe he'll be able to use a little bit of pace, get past some cars, but now our grid is shaken up. Ratka's got a few cars to get past to try and win this race. Matt's in his way, Hidder's in his way, Puma's in his way. Or are they just fighting him? I don't know. Maybe they're not in his way. Maybe they can bring the fight to Ratka and maybe pull off an unlikely victory. I'm not sure. Penalties are too much of a thing for Ratka and some of the other fighters in that fight, but it's going to be interesting to the end. Everyone's brought closer together, less laps of racing. I think it's going to be interesting, but Farhan may have just bottled his championship.
Second DNF within 3 races now. Not good enough for a championship so far. But yeah, what I wanted to say is, if I was Ghosts, I would have stayed out and would have done the opposite of Rataka, because the reason for that is he would have taken the lead. He would have been in front of both Matt, Hidder, and also Puma, so ahead of all 3 of them. If he would have stayed out, and with that, he knows he should be quicker than Matt, he should be quicker than Hidder, and he should be quicker than Puma. So he would have been able to use that pace he's got over those guys to get that tire advantage out of the way from them. Actually, I'm looking for the word, but I can't find it. Compensate. That was my phone. To compensate, that tire advantage with his own pace. and then he had three cars actually, in between him and Rattica, so his main rival in this race.
I mean, sometimes staying out on the maybe less fast tyre can work out. It almost worked for me once in a PSGL. Almost got my first PSGL win in F3. It was Japan. I went on the mediums for one safety car. I went on the mediums. I said everybody behind me went on softs. I ended up with a nice lead. I was happy as you like. And a couple of laps from the end, Nino crashed on purpose or something, brought another safety car, put everyone nice and close to me for a 2-lap restart, and I was still out in front.
I
Everybody
remember
on the
that.
softs.
I was in that race.
I was on the mediums. Yeah, you were. Beat you, Felix. You're bad. But yeah, I was in front. I was still happy as you like. But on the safety car restart, I got overtaken before the line on the yellow flags. I'm still salty about it. I'll forever remain salty about it, even though it's probably my own fault. But shush, that's just how it is. And I lost the race win. Still came third though, and I'm relatively proud. And now I'm getting nowhere near that ever again.
Well, I remember being wiped out in that race on a straight while I had my front wing alongside, and he just closed the gap on a straight. And Gavin just got a 5-second penalty.
Oh. Hey, Cortez.
That might be removed though, but let's see. Has he got front wing damage?
No damage.
I don't understand how drivers are still able to do that. Why don't you just leave... Sorry for that. Why don't you just leave the gap to the drivers in front so you can't hit them? Because you know that as soon as you just slightly clip their rear end, you're gonna get a penalty. You know that. You should know that by now. And that's why you really don't understand why drivers are not really paying attention to that.
Yeah, I mean, if you go into the back of someone, normally it's your own fault unless they just stamp on the brakes, which they should have no reason to. I mean, I've seen it in Monza before. You know how everyone always goes so slowly coming into Parabolica? It always ends up being a really slow run into that. People still don't expect that. I think it was on 2018, come through a safety car for the restart, whoever's at the front slowed down, as you do always in Parabolica. And someone called Exhaust, Dom, he's not... Actually, he might be in PSGL. But yeah, unfortunately, I do blame him for this, but it was Italy. I think I was maybe mid-pack, safety car in this lap. I need to finish this story quickly. So basically, in conclusion, he came up behind, didn't brake, slammed up somebody's rear, took out about 6 drivers. It was awful. It was a calamity. It was tragic. But anyway, racing's about to get underway, and I'm excited. 5-ish laps to go to the end. I don't know numbers. Numbers are hard. Felix, I'll let you take it away.
It's going to be 6 laps, and there goes Matt. He accelerates now. He's accelerating to his full pace. His teammate right behind him, Haas, is leading a 1-2 right now, ahead of a McLaren, and then there is Rattica and Ghosts. And right now, it looks like those guys are a bit too far away from each other to actually make moves. It seems like there's the yellow flag glitch, which could prevent overtaking for now.
Yeah, I mean, I've never really heard of the yellow flag glitch. I already saw that the Ferrari drivers and the Alfa Romeo drivers are going side by side with each other already down the order. Now it's going to be all about slipstream coming down this Kemmel straight. I'm still seeing the yellow flags. Hope if this has an effect on the race, I'm going to scream. There you go, green flags with green flag
and
racing
look at
again.
Ghost.
Looks like Ghost. Yes, he's going to go side by side into the column on Rattica. Up the inside of the Red Bull. Rattica still holds on and keeps P4 away from J Ghosts. And if these two keep fighting the way they are, it's going to be hard for them to get a podium or even the race win, as they still need to get past the drivers ahead.
Yeah, both are expecting to win this race. Both should have the best pace of all guys out on track here, except from Lewis, who's already gone past El Chapo, it looks like. It seems like he's passed him already, up into P10. He goes then, only 2 tenths behind Björn now. Maybe Lewis can fight back and cut his way through the field somehow and end up in the top 6 maybe. But for now, there is Ghost to try to pass Rattica. That was the first move he actually tried on him. In the background, we've had Gio and Kev fighting away, but I'm going to focus on these top positions right now as Nino gets a penalty, which won't help him at all. But look at Lewis. He's so close to Björn already. Can he go for a move through Blanchimont maybe? He's using his ERS right now. He's not going for a move just yet. I know that Björn is really, really hard to overtake, but let's see. And Lewis actually thought about it. Björn breaks himself, and he spins him round, and now he's cut off Lewis as well. Björn makes a huge error, and he spins round Gavin.
He suddenly just swung to the right. It was almost as if he was moving under braking to try and block, Lewis trying to get past him, and he just taps the rear of Gavin, and Gavin gets sent down the order. Goes spinning and hurts Williams' chances for getting any sort of
and look
good
at the two Haas's. Sorry to interrupt you, but this is for the race win right now in between the American team. It's a 1-2 for them at the moment. Is it going to stay in this order as they're going side by side into Les Combes? And it stays with Matt in the lead for now. And Ghost has just made a crucial pass on Radika.
Everybody's getting time penalties right now as well. I know Hidder, he's hurt his chances of winning as well. As Nino, he's going side by side with Jay Chapo. Jay Chapo's going to try now around the outside. He locks up, it goes so wide. And Leon, he's got past him. He's like Jay Chapo. He gets past him again. Coming into the left-hander, and this is so hard to go side by side with. So I don't think they're going to be doing it right now. But, I mean, the overtaking and the penalties are happening right now. Hidder, he's lost the race win already this season due to having too many penalties, and that could happen to him again today. So this race, I think, it's just don't get penalties and you can do well, because if you have no penalties, you're going to go up the order, and that is almost guaranteed.
This safety car has been the best thing that could have happened to us. Look at this fight for pretty much every position out on track right now. This is amazing stuff, and especially for the lead in between the two Haas drivers. The American team leading a 1-2 right now, and could they be facing their first win of the season here in PSGL? Obviously in real life they never even got to get on the podium at the end of the race. Right now in this game, in this league, in this division, it seems like they're on their way for their first ever 1-2 finish in this division in this season.
I mean, at least on track it looks like they could be able to do that. DRS is now enabled though, so this is going to help Hidder maybe get past his Haas teammate. I'm just going to have to wait and see if he closes that gap. Puma behind them. He is not out of touch though, and it's a second gap between them and Ghost, who has been fighting a little bit too much. Hidder is closing on Matt. He's closing a bit more. It looks like he's actually pulled over to the outside. Maybe Matt goes on the defensive to his teammate, and this is only bringing Puma closer and making it harder for these two to win the race as Gavin gets overtaken by Kev after his unfortunate spin. This race has been blown wide open.
Yeah, I feel very sorry for Gavin because he was just an innocent victim in that situation, and yeah, he couldn't do anything about it. It was just Björn moving very late to defend from Lewis behind. He didn't expect him to be that close already, I think, and then he thought he had to defend, brake too late, and then took out the Williams in front of him, which is so unfortunate for him because Gavin was nowhere near at fault there. He was doing quite well so far in that race as well. Now Ghost has caught up once again, and he's now within that 1 second DRS window as he picks up a penalty, which could prove crucial. As you said, it's now just about not getting any pens and trying to make the moves as quickly and as committed as possible. Looks like Puma is catching up to those two Haas guys in front as well. He could be a man to win this race as well.
I'm looking at everybody's penalties right now, and I think Matt is actually in the best position to win this race. Doesn't have a warning to his name, except I'm seeing a few drivers having 5 second time penalties and 3 second time penalties in the lot. So honestly, I think Matt will win this race as long as everything goes okay for him. I don't want to curse him, but I think Matt could potentially have this race win. It just depends what happens behind him. Can anyone catch him, overtake him? We're just going to have to wait and see. I just thought it was raining for a second.
That would make things even crazier. That would be like, was it 2007, 2008? I'm not sure. And what happened to Björn? Björn just dropped down 2 positions in 1. Yeah, Björn, and now he's spun on the second driver. Björn completely off form, completely out of shape right now. And the second car he's spun round now in this race.
I mean, I was just on board with Jay Chapo, and suddenly he just said goodbye and went off into the grass. And I mean, as you say, it must have been Björn's fault again, maybe. I mean, I don't know what's going on with him today, but he's not going well. I can tell you that, but Matt makes 1 second up at the top, which is definitely going to help him now. I think he could just run away, and this is going to put Hidder in a vulnerable position to Puma, and goes behind him.
Yeah, Puma was really close already, but he was too close, so he had the incredible effect of dirty air then. And yeah, made a slight mistake on the inside then with the dirty air, lost the rear end, and now Ghost has caught up massively, so he might be able to actually make a move. Luckily, I for a second I thought Ghost is slowing down, and there goes Lewis. Team orders maybe in between the Mercedes team. I am not sure, but Lewis has just gone past his teammate. For a second I thought Ghost is slowing down and having technical difficulties or mechanical failure, but luckily in this game that's not a thing. Otherwise that would have been a heartbreak for him. And yeah, it's looking good right now for Matt. As you said, if he hasn't got any pens, it's the best thing that could happen to him right now. And maybe he's actually trying to hold his teammate inside the DRS window there. And there comes Ghost. Maybe he's really close. Puma defends the inside line, but Ghost has got the outside for Lecomte now as they go side by side. But he needs to get the switchback work if he wants to get past. But he makes a mistake. Ratiker uses it, gets the inside line for now, but now into this right hand hairpin. He could back out. Yes, he does. So now he slightly touches the rear end of that Williams. They're still side by side into the no-name left-hander. They make contact once again.
Oh, the Mercedes! The Mercedes! Lewis is round! He has made a mistake again, and he has lost another potential good points finish as Lewis gets just too wiggly on the rear, spins the car around as the drivers ahead were fighting oh so hard. I'm sorry, I think I was almost cutting you off at some points and just coming with random words and stuff, but Lewis once again makes a bottle and just hurts his chances of doing well in a race. I hope he can get his act together because he has a race win in him. Except Hidder is actually closed up to Matt for this final lap. What's going to happen now at the front? As Hidder's definitely within overtaking range down the Kemmel Straight.
I'm not sure what will happen in between those guys, but yeah, you are right. Hidder's really close to Matt. It's making the life of Puma very, very hard at the moment, and Ghost is a bit too far away as well, but maybe Ratiker can go for a move on Ghost. That would be crucial, I think, for his championship, because I think Ghost could be one to challenge for that championship as well. And we'll have to wait and see what happens now at the front, as we can see them flying up Radion for one last time in this race. We're on the final lap. It seems like Puma has lost the DRS, which could help Ghosts now as he's 5/10 behind. No, Puma has got the DRS. Let's look at Ratiker. Ratiker's closing up. Ratiker's closing up. And Hidder goes for a move, and Hidder goes past.
He gets past him round the outside, and Lecomte just sweeps past him. The DRS's slipstream is no match for Matt, except Matt has no penalties or warnings to his name, so Hidder will get overtaken by him at the end anyway. But Ratiker, can he somehow find a way past the Williams? And goes, there's a yellow flag, and I'm not really sure what that was for, but okay. But Ratiker behind Ghost, is there any way past for him now?
I'm not sure, but could that have been some team orders there to maybe get Hidder the gap? Because look at Matt, he's losing quite a lot of time. Maybe they're trying to get Hidder into that 3-second window to Puma, or out of that 3-second window, so he can maybe stay in front of some guys. And maybe Matt is trying to help him. Matt is going to win this race on penalties in the end, and I think that was a team order then. But let's see, maybe some last corner dive, some last chicane dive, but it doesn't look like it. And it seems like this is going to be our final result. Hidder comes around the final corner. He's going to take the win on track, but it's going to be the man behind him who wins his first race of the season. And look at the podium. It's Miku once again taking a second place, and he overtakes Ratiker on pens, who takes third and jumps Ghosts. Crucially, Puma drops down to fourth. Hidder goes down to fifth, and Ghosts drops down to 6th, so he has had to have a lot of pens against his name, and Puma only 1/10 behind. Björn takes the final points paying position, and Lewis so close to his teammate, and yeah, Lewis has bottled once again.
It just proves how worthwhile it is being consistent. I mean, I think Miku is maybe in 6th place and just launches up the field straight into 2nd place. So just don't get penalties, and you can finish well. Ratica helping his championship hopes, getting that third place, securing a solid points finish. Oh, not podium finish, in fact, but Matt takes the race win. An unlikely race win, but a welcome one, and it's a good race for him, and I'm sure he's absolutely over the moon.
Why is the race not finished?
Because yes, okay.
Okay, it
the game
seems like
doesn't want to finish.
Schultz doesn't count as the last driver. But yeah, I don't think there were many people who expected Matt to be on top of the podium at the end of this race. Obviously, he's got very lucky with the safety car, but he's done what he needed to do. Not getting any penalties at all. Not getting any warnings, I think, at all. And finishing second on track, letting his teammate go by on the last lap. And yeah, taking the win with him. And an amazing, not only first podium, but first win of the season for him.
Yeah, it's really well done from him. The safety car just played into his hands, and I mean, the safety car was a miracle. Thank you for the safety car game, is all I can say. Only time I'm ever thanking this game for anything. But that really changed this race again. We've had a safety car change the face of this race, but I think it was really enjoyable, even if there was a few points where people didn't really race all that much. But overall, I'd say that's quite good.
Yeah, the last couple of laps since the safety cars came out were incredibly exciting. I'm going to invite the people already as we are waiting for the race to actually finish, it looks like. So it seems like there's a new glitch then. Nice one. And I will have to talk, as sadly PlayStation is not allowing the viewers to hear your voice while I'm in the menu for some reason. So I will just have to take over for now, as my PlayStation's taking ages to actually send an invite. Now it has. Good stuff. And then we need to invite Miku. Yes, there we are. Yeah, there we have him. And I don't think we're going to get the final results, if I'm honest. No, I don't want to join the party. That was close. I want to invite him to the party, which...
I'm sorry.
That is very rude of you, but I'm trying to invite people right now. I'm trying to invite people right now, but it just shows me their party, which I don't want to join. Now I can invite Ratica at least, and now I need to invite Miku. Don't know if those guys will even join. It'd be nice to see at least some of them join. But if they don't want to, then they won't. Ratika's joining. I think Matt is joining. That is good to see. I'm going to have to leave this session because it's just not loading. Now it's loading. Great. Now the race is officially finished.
I need to leave you, but anyway, I really enjoyed this race, and thank you for having me, Felix, once again here in PSGL. It was beautiful to watch again. I'll be back next week. Maybe I'll stay for the interviews, we'll see. But anyway, thank you, it was enjoyable.
Yep, just for joining me.
Next week. Also, well done to the podium people who are in the party. Bye.
Right then, there we finally have got a podium as well. That is Matt coming onto that top step, taking out his phone for a winner's selfie, lifting up the trophy in the end for his first victory of the season. A very unlikely one, I'd say. And then the happy faces on that podium. I think most people will be happy on that podium. And now we will go on to the interview, I'd say, because we've already got the drivers in, which is great to see. So yeah, I'd say we'll start off, even though we're still in the race and we're still seeing the final standings, or the final results, I should rather say. Starting off with our race winner. First of all, Matt, huge congratulations on your win. Please make sure you've got your microphone voice on shared, so the viewers can actually hear you. And yeah, first race win of the season. And I'd say that wasn't really expected, was it?
No, I mean, when I started 11th, I was kind of like banking on a safety car to come out when I went long. I was coming in that lap anyway, and just safety car just like got quite lucky with it, but yeah, managed to hold on.
It was a good showing from you. I mean, yeah, you got very lucky with the safety car, no doubt. It came out at basically the perfect point in time for you to pit and not lose any time to those guys behind us. Everyone fitted the softs in the end, and yeah, you still had to maintain that lead. You still had to not get any warnings or any pens. I think you got no warnings at all in this entire race, which is really
Yeah.
impressive. And in the end, was that some team orders when you let your teammate go through, or was it actually a proper overtake?
I knew he had 6 seconds of pens, and I wanted to win a race on track, but I didn't really want to get caught in a battle and then end up spinning when I had a gap behind in third. So I kind of just like get out the corner and let him in front, and then I knew I could jump in at the end of the race.
All right, yeah, that was what I thought as well, that you already knew about the penalties. And yeah, in the end, you took the win. And with that, now with your first race win under your belt, do you think you can finally like properly kick off your championship and maybe Haas championship as well with a really strong showing this week?
Yeah, I believe so. I feel like I've been quite unlucky in a few races, so I do feel like I am sort of in the fight a bit. And well done to Hiddo as well. I know he finished fifth in the end, but he had a very good race.
Yeah, I gotta apologize though. I did mistake you for not getting a podium so far this season, but you did in Hungary. Actually, you got third.
Yeah.
Very sorry about
Yep.
that, but yeah, now it's their first race win, and then if we look into the future at the next round in Zandvoort, how do you feel about that? Do you think there could be another podium in?
I think quali, I'm not great, but race pace is a lot better. So hopefully, I'm going to aim for a top 5. Hopefully.
Okay, so yeah, I wish you the best of luck. Huge congratulations on your win today, and yeah, I'll maybe hear you next week then.
Thanks very much.
All right, coming on towards a familiar voice on this podium now. Third podium of the season for you, Miku. First of all, congrats, and yeah, another second place, second time this season. And after not scoring any points in Spain, how does that feel? If Miku's here, okay, seems like Miku. Is Miku here? Ah, I think he's joining now. Aye, now he's here. All right. So I interviewed no one right there. Great. All right, Miku, can you hear me?
Yes.
Beautiful. All right, I already asked you a question, but you weren't here, so I just interviewed no one, which was a bit weird. But I'm just gonna say the same thing again. A familiar voice on the podium, third podium this season, second place this season, and after not scoring any points in Spain, that must feel pretty good.
Yes, it does. Oh, the Spanish GP one was a puncture in the second last lap, so that really sucked. So it feels really good to pull off this result.
Yeah, I mean, you didn't finish that high up on track, but in the end, you got it on pens. I think you were one of the few guys who didn't get any pens together with Matt. And did you know about all the pens of those guys around you, or were you actually surprised that you got P2 in the end?
Well, I didn't exactly know the front guy's penalties, but I knew that Rasaka only had 5 seconds, which might get removed, so I knew that I had to try to make some on-track overtakes, but I just couldn't. The train was too much, and my ERS was dead because of the start of my second stint, where my pace wasn't that good.
Yeah, and with that safety car coming out, obviously you were one of the few guys who had already, one of the guys, which was actually a big amount of people, who had already made their one and only pit stop usually, but then the safety car came out, and when the safety car came out, were you just maybe thinking about staying out on the mediums, going for the opposite strat against anyone else going for the track position, or was your immediate plan to go onto the softs?
Well, I was thinking it about little, but I got told by my engineers that I should just pit or follow the guys in front and just do what they do. So when I saw that they would pit, I just went into the pits as well. I didn't want to risk it too much with old mediums.
Yeah, understandable, especially after that puncture last week.
Yeah.
You'd rather not stay out on the same compound for too long. But now, looking ahead into next week's race in Zandvoort, how do you feel about it? Could it be your fourth podium of the
It's a
season?
horrible track. No, it's a horrible, absolute disaster track. So if I get points there, that will be actually quite something already. I really hate that track. Well, okay, it's on alright track, but my pace there is like horrible.
Yeah, I can definitely agree with that. And yeah, I think Zandvoort, the track itself, I'd say for me personally, it's a good track. I'm bad at it, but it's a good track in general. It's nice to race on in GT cars, but it's just a bit too small for F1 cars, in my opinion. So awful track for F1, but yeah, that's how we have to deal with it. That's how you guys have to deal with it. Same with me. And yeah, then good luck for next week. Maybe you can pull out a little bit of a miracle and finish on the podium again.
Yeah, thank you. I hope so.
All right, then coming on to another familiar voice, P3 today for our championship leader, Rattica. Welcome back to the podium. And actually not too familiar if I look at the results. You've only had one race win so far, and that's only your second podium. That actually surprises me, because I always had in mind that you finished quite high up, but I can see two fourth places so far this season. And how does it feel to finally get a podium again? What weighs more, the happiness or the disappointment of the of the first safety car? Yeah, not the best of luck in the last couple of races, but your teammate has had even worse luck, and yeah, so did Gavin. So the closest rival to you, who actually finished quite high up, is Miku, who's fourth in the championship, and he was 13 points behind you.
I think
But
Matt is ahead of me now.
yeah, that should be the case. No, actually, it doesn't. Actually, you're equal on points now, but Matt is in front because of that race win.
Will get removed penalty, so
Yeah, that might be the case. And yeah, so now with that, you said you're happy with the podium, and yeah, so many guys had a lot of trouble, even if they weren't at fault, especially Gavin, who unluckily got spun round by Björn. And you know, who's going to be your biggest challenger for the title this season, you think? Because the Williams boys did look very quick, and so did Lewis, but obviously he spun in the lead. Yeah, those two Williams guys have looked pretty quick last week and today once again, especially Ghosts. And yeah, Lewis, like I've already mentioned, he spun not only once but twice, and once from the lead, and then you took over the lead, and yeah, you controlled it basically. So yeah, do you think with your raw pace? Yeah, sorry, go on. Okay, you did control the race then until the safety car came out. So in terms of pace and consistency, you've probably been the best driver so far this season, especially consistency. No, not a really bad result at all. I mean, you've had one win, one third place now, which might turn into second place, and two fourth places and one fifth place. So what can stop you from winning this championship with that kind of consistency? Well, we did see that quite a lot today with other championship contenders. So, yeah, everyone needs to be careful with that. But hopefully, we won't see something like that in the future. And speaking about the future, next week there's Zandvoort. Your comment on Zandvoort? Alright, so a completely different opinion than Miko has, and completely the opposite to mine as well. But yeah, that's it, ladies and gentlemen. Huge congratulations to all 3 podium finishers. The safety car really made the race a lot more entertaining than it was before, even though before it wasn't that bad. But yeah, in the end, it was a thrilling race and a first time winner here in this season, with Matt taking the win. And we have now got 5 different winners out of 5 races, which is great to see. And yeah, with that being said, I hope you guys will join us once again next week when we are going live once again, Monday, 7 p.m. UK time, PSGL 5. And with that being said, goodbye and take care.